Huge Diddy trial update. Details on release. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel again. Haven't talked about Diddy in a while. You know, the sentencing is right around the corner, October 3rd. There's been a lot of talk where a lot of people think he's not going to get a lot of time, year, maybe two at the most. The prosecution wants, at least 4 to 5 or years, or maybe even the max. I don't know. I feel like they're going to try to take what they can get, but man, I still just go back to the beginning when we thought it was going to be a lot of things said that weren't, but here we are. So let me see what they got to say about this. Appreciate y'all coming over and watching. We ain't gonna waste no more time. Let's jump right into it.
TMZ Live, if the defense in the Diddy case gets its way, Diddy could be a free man next month, because they have filed a massive document basically setting out their position. And their position is that what he was convicted of amounts to nothing more really than
They're saying what he was convicted of was nothing more than having the O word. You know, when a group of people are in the room together doing things, the O word. Y'all know what it is. Group smecks.
Make their case for him, if you're going to convict him, that this should be a very lenient sentence.
So what they're asking for is this. They are saying, look, he was found not guilty on all the serious charges. The only thing he's left with is the Mann Act. What they're saying is, what that is worth is 14 months in prison and then supervised release for some period thereafter.
Now, we should say that this is what they are, right. Diddy's team is suggesting to the judge. The prosecutors are on the far other end of the spectrum, where they're saying he should get somewhere between 4 to 5 years. That would, I'm sure, include time served. Again, he's been in for a year now.
I got to say,
that would be
throwing the book at him for a Mann Act violation.
Yeah.
If he gets 14 months, if the defense gets what they want, he'd essentially get out October 3rd, because
he's been in for a year, months.
And you get 15% credit for time served. So he'd basically be out after the sentence, and then he'd be on supervised release.
That's crazy.
So
man.
There's something more, though, and that is
whether or not
he should be sentenced at all.
Yeah, there's this side battle that's going on where they want to throw out the 2 Mann Act convictions. They've won, and they're sort of trying to spike the football and say those Mann Act convictions should be thrown out as well, because all Diddy did was he never...
So a lot of stuff I'm going to have to edit out there, but basically they're saying, they're trying to get rid of the Mann Act because Diddy himself didn't participate in what was going on. He was the one watching. But at the same time, they were like, he was rubbing the man's juices on his body. I'm telling y'all, if this man gets out, he probably going to be in Madison Square Garden with a whole not guilty tour or whatever thing going on. And it's just going to be insane. And I feel like a lot more people now will be silent on things that may have allegedly happened to them because they weren't able to take Diddy down.
It's an old statute. It's about going out on your
for
wife.
his purposes. Like, the judge is going to answer it later this week.
But the thing that the judge also has to consider, with the Mann Act, is there is a history to this. It is a racist law that was passed during Reconstruction to prevent black men from dating white women.
Famously.
And
Jack Johnson,
the boxer, was prosecuted. The black boxer.
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry was prosecuted.
He's also black.
And who was black? I kind of
yes, I know. We assumed that they knew.
There was a fear of black men taking white women across state lines.
But Johnny Cochran in the O.J. Simpson case famously
was also black.
Who also black.
Not prosecuted under the Mann Act, though.
said to the jury, race plays a part in everything. And they raised that issue. They raised that issue with Diddy.
But hasn't, as far as this case is concerned, that ship has sailed.
I think
right?
it sailed
They
a
made
bit.
that argument at the beginning of the trial.
To your point, it preserves it for appeal. You can have these kind of academic arguments, and maybe that they want to have this sideshow go all the way up to the Supreme Court and really argue the Mann Act.
I don't know. I don't know that it's a sideshow. Mark Agnifilo, who is the lead lawyer in the case, told us when we did our documentary.
And that was 7 months before the trial started.
And told the jury the exact same thing. What he said was, they looked at Diddy, they couldn't go after him for his business, they couldn't go after him for his taxes, so they did the last thing they could possibly do, which is to go into his bedroom. And it was a takedown, they said, of a successful black man. So he made this argument. And
he won on all the
make
major
that argument
charges.
now and get the charge thrown out.
You're right, but does the judge, is that in the
Is it
judge's
in his head?
Is that in the judge's head?
So that he has a more lenient sentence.
That's right. Whether you look at it, through a prism of look at the history of this law and look at what we're left with here.
Right.
Do you think it's more likely the opposite is in the judge's head, that Diddy somehow convinced a jury through very successful lawyering to get the major charges thrown out, and I still want to punish him even though all I have is 2 minor offenses?
Oh, I hope the judge can't think that.
Yeah.
You
He
want the
shouldn't,
judge-
he shouldn't,
you want
but
the
he's a
judge-
human. He's
You want
a
the
human.
judge to go like, oh, he just had great lawyers, so now I need to punish
The
him?
law is supposed to be dispassionate, but it is run by humans, and Harvey knows that as well as I do. That's why the jurors are human. They respond to evidence in certain ways. So do judges.
If the judge is looking for a pound of flesh, that could backfire for the judge if he wants to be on the appellate court.
Without question.
Hey guys, I'm Joy Daly from New York City, and I believe that Diddy has been sitting in prison behaving himself for over a year. And for the first time in 2 decades, he is clean as a whistle in terms of his sobriety. So I hope that Diddy learned his lesson and he doesn't make any more of these dangerous mistakes, because I believe this entire experience has changed his entire life, shook him to his core, his whole life flashed before his eyes. And I just can't wait to see the outcome of this trial.
Well, we will see. October 3rd is the sentencing, and
I don't know, man. I don't know. At some point I was sure, but I'm gonna just say this, because what she just said, I don't know if I believe that. I feel like he could get out and be like, yeah, I told y'all. You know what I mean? And get right back to it. Who was it? Aubrey O'Day said that Diddy wouldn't go right off into the sunset. She said he might be coming for people. Now, you would think that if he gets out, and you would be like, you think he'd go, whew, that was close. And, get his stuff together. But some people with that mentality, a lot of people call him a narcissist. Some people with that mentality, it's like when you see people, I got family members that have been to jail, they get out, they go back. Some people actually like being in there. I'm not saying Diddy like being in jail, but I'm just saying like he likes the power. It seemed like he likes to intimidate people. So if that's not who he is, then who will he be? So it's like, I know he got this name Love and all that, but it's like, what will Diddy out of jail look like? Are people going to do music with him? Is he going to continue to produce? Are you going to want Diddy as a feature? Do you want Diddy producing your music? Just what is this going to look like? Now, the fact that his bail had kept being denied, I know he got to pay the lawyers and stuff, but, I think he still has a lot of money sitting there to where he should ride off into the sunset, but I just don't see it. I don't know him. I don't think none of us know him. We only look at what's being presented and can only assume and speculate who's telling the truth, who's not. But again, it seemed like there was a lot of stories about him that didn't come to the light in this case. So that's why I'm saying I don't know what he would look like out of jail, as far as will he just right off into the sunset. But apologize for all the stuff I had to trim out. You know, when they say the R word that rhymes with grape, I can't have that posted. Yeah, so I'll try to edit this in a way that it makes sense. But again, appreciate y'all coming over. Please like, share, and comment below what you guys think. All right, peace out.